Hi guys, you know what? It looks like Greek bands really enjoy being featured on the electronic corner. And of course, that makes me happy because it's always a pleasure for me to show you what great electronic music comes out from that specific Mediterranean nation. So, waiting for us today is Konstantin, who is a member of the dark wave duo Grey Gallows. Before we meet him, please let me remind you that any interview on the Electronic Corner, of course, you can watch it here, the video, but is also available in written form on my website, and the link is below in the description. But now it's time to meet Grey Gallows. Hello, Konstantin. Nice to see you. Thanks a lot for accepting my invitation here at the Electronic Corner. How are things in Greece?
Hello, Sergio. First of all, I would like to start with by saying that it's a great honor for me personally and for Grey Gallows, of course, to be hosted in your show, in your channel, and in the Electronic Corner. So the things in Greece, they're not quite good, I would say, in terms of politically view. Okay, but personally, things are going well because I'm in my home studio, in my home. I just recently moved with my wife and my newborn baby. So if you listen some crying, baby crying, it's my son. So personally, I'm very happy. It's really
Yeah,
great.
I see some scenes
Era.
behind you, so you must be happy. I mean, that room is your kingdom, as you called it, while we were kind of chatting before the
Yeah, that
recording.
room is
So,
my kingdom. This room is my kingdom. There are 10 synths. I don't think that you can see all of those synths. It's a chord monologue
mhm,
right here, which is my personal favor. It is the synth I am playing live. Uh,
yeah,
Beside, this is the Korg wave state. It's a powerful sampling synth, digital sampling synth. Above, it's the modal argon. Over there are another Korg. It's the monologue, a very strong, powerful analog monophonic
yeah.
synthesizer,
I love
great
it.
for great for bass sounds and solos, which I'm playing with a pedal
Mm,
by Boss synthesizer. I'm
mhm.
playing a synthesizer which has a Boss pedal synthesizer because it's a little crazy, but it's working. Over down here, it's the Arturia, the Kiste Pro, which combine all those things. It's really hard to do, but I'm working on it, and it's
Mhm.
will be very great live. So over there are my first two synths. It's the great Roland Essades 201, which is mimics the analog. It's not analog; it's virtual analog. It was really EBM, harsh EBM sounds, and on down from S8 is uh, the Roland Fa. It's a great workstation, and you cannot see here from here. It's a Yamaha QS 300. It's an old sampler-based synthesizer, which was nominated as a Prodigy's baby or the Rave's babe because it was Prodigy played with this synthesizer, and it didn't have a sequencer or an arpeggio, and it was a rumor saying that Prodigy were putting a spoon on the keyboard to hold the continuing notes like singers.
Oh,
Great.
wow. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
heard about the Prodigy that they recorded an entire album using Propellerhead Reason. At the time, it was called Propellerhead, the
Hmm.
company. But I didn't know about this other thing. Great. Well, you already answered one of my questions, but that's not a problem at all. But now let's move back. I mean, before we go technical again, let's talk about the very beginning. So, like the formation of the band in 2016. So, what inspired you and Dionysus to start making music together?
Uh, well, I met Dionysus at 2013. I think we became friends. We understood that we share common things like not only music, but perspective in life, the same perspective in life. So we made real close. We were hanging around in some goth clubs or rock clubs, listening to music, and while we were discussing, we realized that we one of our dreams is to have a band, to make our own music, and to write what we were seeing as influences come from. So this was one of my first dreams, to have my own band, not to be playing to play in a band and playing another person's ideas. So that united us, and we made a decision that we are here and we will try to make our band.
Yeah, when you can achieve a dream is always a nice feeling, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
that's great. Let's talk about your lyrics now. They mostly deal with issues like from inner struggle to healing from dark emotions. So I'm curious to know about your songwriting process and how you approach these specific themes in your lyrics.
Well, as you say, our lyrics deal with pain and the healing procedure that comes from pain, realizing your pain, and which is the dark side of the moon. And while you are realizing your pain, it's a journey that makes you wiser, makes you, when you grow old, you are becoming wiser. And some on the corner or the end of the road, it would be a light. So it's a trip to a journey to understanding yourself. It combines both the dark times, both black and light, white. That's why one of the reasons we our name is Grey Gallows is that the gallows, when you're hanging, it's like a negative picture, and the gray color is a combination um, from dark times, black and white, the light. Because in our life, we are experiencing, not only us, everyone, constantly dark times and good times, and this makes us keeping forward. So this is the basic idea behind our name, and the lyrics deal with this struggle, this struggle, the dark emotions. To answer your question, what is the procedure of writing songs? Um, in general, um, either Dionysus, either me, came with a basic structure, a basic idea, um, because we did not play on the studio. We did not rehearsal live. We do not write the songs in that way. We are making each one of us a basic structure, a basic idea that is being shared via WeTransfer, and when the main idea is completed, there are the lyrics. I write lyrics, or Dionysus writes lyrics, and I'm trying to put a melody on those lyrics. And a thing that I'm realizing right now is that writing a melody in lyrics is like writing a melody in a instrument. It's
Hmm,
it's another instrument. Your voice. It's the voice.
definitely. Yes.
Don't you agree? It's an
Oh
instrument.
yeah, it has to blend it. I do the same with my songs, you know. I always try my vocals as an added instrument, which just happens to be played with my own voice. But of course, it is an instrument because it has somehow to blend, you know, with all the rest, the harmonics and the melodies and the
Yeah,
rhythm
yeah.
of all the sounds that you have. Otherwise, it would be something totally disjointed. And okay, it can work in some genre, but generally, when you make music, it doesn't work. So, of course, I perfectly agree with you. You know, what you told me about this darkness and light in our life and the fact that both are needed in order to move forward makes me think of one of the quotes of one of my favorite authors. His name is Neil Donald Walsh. And, you know, and he keeps saying that the only way for us to know what we like is when we are exposed to what we don't like. Because if life was just eternal happiness, that would be an impossible condition. Because as I said and as he said, you only know what you want to have if you can also see what you don't have. So it's opposite. So I was wondering if you agree with this kind of philosophy, because it looks like to go along with what you just told me, and you know the way you write the lyrics and so on.
Well, it's an amazing quote. I 100% agree with this quote. And when you said this quote, immediately in my mind, I thought that when I was younger, and I think that is, I don't say that this goes to all people, but I think that this is a common. When I was younger, I couldn't handle difficult situations, and I thought that this I would never be able to handle dark emotions or difficult situations in my life. Later, when I grew up and with all this experience I'm gathering, I realized that I'm realizing that those times are um, uh, precious to me, even though back then it was very painful because it's my experience, and from that experience, from these dark times, I'm able now to 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 strengthen myself and to confront possible difficult times in the future. So those times are not just precious; they are needed, necessary for our lives. We cannot go. Uh, we cannot continue our lives without having those precious moments.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, we digressed a bit, but I thought this was a very interesting subject, and so I hope you know our viewers will also appreciate this digression. Anyway, moving back to to your band and the music, how did your music evolve since your first mini album, Beyond Reflections, until now?
Um, this is a constant development and evolution in our music. Our first mini album, Beyond Reflections, was recorded back in 2016, in the last months. Um, there was just some ideas, and we have a great need to put those songs together. Of course, it was not as professional as you can imagine because we're just a very underground band. We are now underground, of course. We're not mainstream, but at those times we didn't have the tools. We didn't have a sound producer, so all of this production was made by Dionysis in his home studio. So we tried to evolve our sound. Uh, on our first mini album, we didn't have so much experience. The instruments played in our first mini album was mainly by VSTs, by Dionysis, Minimoog, or Jupiter VST, and by me. I was playing just the Roland Fa, which is a great, of course, digital synthesizer. And I'm thinking, I'm thinking that when I was recording some arpeggios in my small home studio back then, I didn't use some VSTs, so I was hitting the keyboard in order to be able to be on tempo. It was an exhausting procedure.
Yeah.
After that, we were experiencing some VSTs. We bought some VSTs or bought some synthesizers, analog synthesizer, and during the years we tried to have a mixture, a blend of both analog synthesizers, hardware, and software synthesizers, but of course some digital synthesizers which can add some different layers in our music.
Yeah, that's good. And again, that makes me think. I mean, I'm not saying that your beginning was the dark time and now is the light time, but the fact that you had to start with a very basic equipment and that you were forced to do things in a much harder way than now, in a way, was also formative experience for you, right? I mean, maybe if you started already with all the tools that you have now, you would have not been able to do what you do now, because maybe some of the hardship, let's say, or all of the basis that you learned at that time would be missing. Do you agree?
Yes, I totally agree. And let me say this: that both me and Dionysis we're like an old school guys. We're not the we're above 30 or 40. I'm 44, so I was used to have hardware synthesizers all my life. I was playing in hardware synthesizer, not on software. Later on, of course, step by step, I managed to have some experience. Of course, MIDI is a great evolution. MIDI, we can do everything, but on our first steps, uh, we had the on our mind that we are a dark wave band, which tries to have its sound influenced by 80s or 90s dark wave sound, and not like a band that is evolving and have a totally electronic sound.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, I have a question about that later. But first, I want to ask you, you've collaborated with sound designer Nick Haldupis, if I remember well the
Yeah,
pronunciation.
Nick Halupi.
Haldupis, for your third album, Garden of Lies. Now, how did this collaboration come about, and what impact did it have on the sound of the album itself?
Yeah, by collaborating with Nick Haltupis, not just on Garden of Lies, but on our last album,
Oh, yes.
Strangers. I consider Nick like the hidden third member of our band, because he knows exactly what we want and he is able to give us. Um, so when we met him some years ago, and we heard his job, we were amazed. Nick is a sound designer, sound producer. He's a beta tester and on video games. He's a very professional. He has a studio. He's collaborating with Native Instruments, I think,
Wow.
and with Dreadbox. Okay, so he has a lot of experience on creating electronic sounds, and he's crazy with modular synthesizers, I think. So he knows exactly what we want and what can be done to reproduce and to make an analog 80s or 90s sound. So it was just perfect for us. It gives us a huge variety of sounds, a solid sound, And of course, we are going to collaborate again on our new album, which we are currently preparing.
That's great. Now, how do you balance the use of the electronic elements with the guitar in your music?
Well, I think this question is mainly can be mainly answered by Dionysus because he's the guitar master. But I will try to answer it.
Thank you.
We try to have a balance between electronic elements and traditional dark wave rhythms and sounds. So one of our main characteristic or our main elements is guitar. We are in a half of our songs or more. We are a guitar-driven band. Dionysus uses a lot of effects to produce to this kind of sound in his guitar. So we have a spectrum from 80s, 90s dark wave to a more modern electronic music. Um, we try to balance those elements. We are not a band that tries to make one kind of music all the time because for us it's very, very, very boring, and I think for the listeners too. So we have some a palette. There is a palette, a spectrum where we can go from there to there, and you will realize when you listen to our latest album. It has electronic songs and some more traditional goth or dark wave. There are some elements from goth music.
I see. Any idea when it will be released?
So I can say to you that we are about to release
Oh,
a mini album, which is totally electronic. So it's really electronic. We will have 3 songs. I cannot say more, of course. We are experiencing and some things like different language. I try different language. So this is great fun for us, and it's an inspiration for us to go further.
yeah.
It won't be long when will be released
Release. Wow.
a mini
Okay. No,
album.
thanks a lot for this anticipation, let's say. Now, we spoke about the instruments that you use. We spoke about sound design. Now, effects are missing. We still didn't talk about that. So I'm curious to
Yeah,
know,
effects.
are there any particular effects that are crucial to the sound of Grey Gallows?
Effects.
Yes.
Uh, if I can speak for myself, I am using a Boss RV6. It's one of my favorite effects. Hardware. I mean hardware.
Mm.
Okay. Um, I am using when I am playing with my monologue, chord monologue, which is a monophonic sound. I am using the Boss synthesizer pedal, which gives more depth to the original sound of the monologue sound. Uh, while I'm recording, of course, I have software VSTs and effects. I
Mhm.
think my favorite effect it's replica. It's a effect software effect which has everything for me. It can make one bass line sounding like 10 bass lines. So that's for me. Dionysus, of course, uses his own guitar or bass effects, mainly by Boss, and his own, of course, his software pedals.
I see. That's very interesting. Thanks a lot for sharing this information with us. Now, the time has arrived for the last question, and now all the followers of the Electronic Corner already know that it's what I call the studio demonstration. I know that in
Yeah.
this case, it will be a live performance, and I'm really looking forward to watch that. So let's enjoy it now. Wow. So thank you very much. That was impressive. I mean, considering in your room, that's the room where you are now. you managed to make it, look like a very professional setting for a live concert with all those lights, and the sound quality was also very good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody else did. So now it's time to say goodbye. Thanks a lot for being with us today. I enjoyed it a lot, and good luck for the new album and everything else. And well, take care. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sergio. It was an honor and a pleasure for me being here in Electronic Corner. Grey Gallows salutes you.